What's going on, everybody? My name is Alex Freeberg, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Data Analyst Bootcamps. I get asked all the time whether they're worth the money, whether somebody should do it, or if they'll actually get them a data analyst job. And so this video is going to cover everything you need to know about Data Analyst Bootcamps and if they are right for you. To get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about what a bootcamp is, and then I'm going to go into some of the pros and cons of a Data Analyst Bootcamp. And then at the end, we're going to look at two Data Analyst Bootcamps that are both online and see kind of what you're getting for your money and how much they actually cost. So for those of you who don't know what a Data Analyst Bootcamp is basically a course where you're going to go in person or online, and you're going to learn everything you need to know to become a data analyst and get a job as a data analyst. These can range from 1 week all the way up to 6 months, and some of them are part-time and some are full-time, ranging from about 3 hours a day all the way up to 8 hours a day, which is basically like a full-time job. I will note that because of COVID, almost all the in-person bootcamps are online now. It's basically still the same time commitment, it's just online instead of in person. When you join one of these boot camps, you're assigned a teacher or a mentor, and you're also assigned into a cohort where you have other students that are working alongside you, typically around 5 to 12 people. And you're going to start with the basics, and they're going to teach you everything you know to be job ready. They're going to assign you real world problems as well as homework, and you're going to work through all these things with your cohort, and so you guys can help each other and you guys can learn from each other. These boot camps average around $5,000 in cost, but they can go as low as $3,000 and as high as $15,000. A lot of these boot camps have job assistants where they're actually going to help you with your resume and your portfolio and helping you find a job. Some actually offer a job guarantee, which means if you don't get a job, you don't have to pay for the tuition for the course. So in a nutshell, that's basically what a data analyst bootcamp is. Let's go on to the positives of the things that I like about data analyst bootcamps, and then we'll go into the negatives. One of the things that I like is that you learn everything really fast, and you have a coach and an expert who's going to be there to help you understand all the things that you need to know and help bounce ideas off of and help understand concepts that you're learning. There are also other students who you can work with, and you get to bounce ideas off them and work on projects with them, which is kind of what it's like in the real world. And I like that they have real world projects that you can work on and add to your portfolio. That was one of the most difficult things for me when I was first starting out, is I had no idea what a good project looked like, and so having them already set up for you is really, really nice. And the last thing that I like is some of them offer a job guarantee, which means if you pay for this course, you are guaranteed a job, and if you don't get a job, you're going to get your money back or you don't have to pay, which I think is a really, really good perk of doing a boot camp. Now let's go into the negatives, and I think the first one to mention is the price. $7,000 is not cheap, and I know that I would definitely not have been able to afford that when I was first starting out, and I probably would have had to take out a loan or borrow money from my parents just to pay for one of these boot camps. And while you're spending that $7,000, you're also not working because a lot of these are full-time boot camps. And so while you're spending that money, you also are not gaining money because you don't have a job. So if you have a family or you already have a job, it'll make it near impossible to balance that as well as the boot camp at the same time. Now, one of my positives was that some of these boot camps have a job guarantee, but one of my negatives is that the vast majority of them don't have a job guarantee. Only select few really do. And so if you don't get a job guarantee, you may be paying $7,000 for absolutely nothing, and you may not get a job in the end, which would be really devastating, and it would definitely hurt you financially in the long run. My last negative is that these boot camps do not replace a degree, and so if you're applying for a job and their minimum requirement is a bachelor's degree and you only have a data analyst boot camp on your resume, you're probably not going to meet the minimum requirements. Really quick, let's look at two online data analyst boot camps and look at the curriculum as well as the pricing for these boot camps. The first one that we're going to look at is this one right here, which is Springboard. I saw this one everywhere, so let's take a look at this one and see what the curriculum actually looks like. So for this online boot camp, here is what you'll be learning. The first thing is framing structured thinking, which is basically teaching you how to ask the right questions. The next section is analyzing business problems, and it's basically teaching you financial and statistical problems in Excel and how to solve those. The next thing is connecting data to SQL, and so getting this data into SQL, and they're actually doing that in MySQL. The next section is visualizing data with Python, and for this they're going to use Jupyter Notebooks as well as Matplotlib and Seaborn for those visualizations. And last, they're going to teach you how to communicate your analysis with Tableau and Power BI. With all that being said, they're basically just teaching you Excel, SQL, Python, and then Power BI or Tableau. And for tuition, the cost is $6,600, and if you pay upfront, you can actually pay only $5,500, or you can pay monthly and pay about $1,000 per month. Speaking for myself, I think that is pretty expensive, and I know that I could not have afforded that when I was first starting out. And I will say a lot of the stuff that you're learning are the basics. You're learning Excel, you're learning SQL, Python, Tableau. These are all things that you can absolutely learn on your own. It's just that on this platform, you can learn it all in one place, and you can learn it at an accelerated rate. Here's another online bootcamp that I found that's called BrainStation, got really good reviews. Let's look at the coursework first, and then we'll look at the price. So looking at this course, it looks like the first unit is on data collection, and then it actually goes into cleaning and analyzing your data. It looks like that's all done in Excel. And then the next thing is databases, where you actually learn SQL, and it looks like this is also done in MySQL. And the very last thing is visualizing your data, and that's all done in Tableau. So if you notice, they don't do Python, and they also don't do Power BI, which they did in the last data bootcamp. And for this bootcamp, the price is around $3,000, which is just about half of the last bootcamp that we looked at. So overall, I don't think that bootcamps are worth it. I think it's too expensive, and I also think a vast majority of the things that you're going to learn in these bootcamps are things that you can teach yourself online for free. I guess if you have the money and you want to become a data analyst, this might be a good option for you because it probably will help you become a data analyst a little bit faster. I just don't see this as something that I would have taken when I was first starting out, and so I don't think I can recommend it for you guys. Again, this is just my opinion and my perspective, and you may be in a completely different situation where a bootcamp is perfect for you. And in that case, go for it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with bootcamps. I just think that the cost is too high for what you're actually getting. So that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon page in the description, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.